If you've clicked on this video to find out what a structured reference is, then you're about to be surprised. You've probably used this functionality before, not knowing its true powers. There's a possibility that you've used the format as table option. Most people use it to format their data tables. However, there is so much more to it than formatting, and that's what we will find out in this video. If you look at this sheet, there is a simple table where we have details of units sold for 6 different products. We need to find out the value of units sold for the product mentioned in column D3 and display that value in the cell E3. This can be done using a simple VLOOKUP. You can also use XLOOKUP or index match to get the result. I will use VLOOKUP in this case. In the cell E3, I will write VLOOKUP. Lookup value is the value in cell D3. For table array, we will use the values in the cell A2 to B7. For column index number, we will indicate 2 as we want to display the value in the second column of the table array. And finally, we will write false for range lookup. If VLOOKUP is new for you, then you can look at my other video where I've explained this function. You can find the link in the description. I get the value 42,000 as units sold for the product C. If I change the product to E, the value changes to 41,700. So this is how you would expect the VLOOKUP to work. Now let's add another product G. And add units sold as 50,000. If I change the value in the cell D3 to G, VLOOKUP does not return the units sold in the cell E3. This is because the table range is till the row 7, and any value added in rows beyond 7 are out of scope for this formula. If I want to see the results for product G, then I will need to update the table array range. This can be cumbersome if you're likely to continuously add values to your data over a period of time. Let's change the value of the cell D3 back to C. And let's also delete the product G and 50,000. This is where structured references come in. Let's see how do we use them. I will select the contents of the table including the header row. On the Home tab, I will click Format as Table. There are multiple formatting options available and you can select any of your choice. I will click on the first one. You can validate the data range. Make sure My Tables as Header is checked if you have selected the header row. Press OK. And you'll see the table formatting change. As I had mentioned earlier, many Excel users use this functionality for good formatting. But let's explore this further. You will see another ribbon called Table Design is now visible. In Mac and some older versions of Excel, it is called just Table. And there is something called Table Name. By default, the name is Table 1. You must give a good intuitive name to the table. You'll soon see why. Let us call it T units sold. T stands for table. I use this naming convention so that if while working, I forget the name of the table, I can press T and all the table names will be displayed next to each other. Now let's rewrite the VLOOKUP function. In the cell E3, I will write VLOOKUP. Lookup value is the value in the cell D3. For table array, we will use the values in the cell A2 to B7. As I select these values, the range A2 to B7 is replaced by the table name we had provided moments ago, T units sold. We could have just written the table name ourselves instead of selecting the range. More on that soon. For column index number, we will indicate 2 as we want to display the value in the second column of the table array. And finally, we will write false for the range lookup. Now, as I close the bracket, I get the value 42,000 as units sold for the product C. If I change the product to E, the value changes to 41,700. Now here is the difference structured references will create. As you can see in the last cell, which is the bottom right cell, it has a little indication that the table ends here. I'm going to type another product G, and as I press tab, you will see that table end indication has moved one row down. Excel included the row as we typed these value in an adjacent row. Even if we type something in column C, that will be included in the table as it is the adjacent column. Let me write the unit sold value as 50,000. And you will see the formatting is automatically applied to this value. Now if I change the value of the cell D3 to G, Excel displays the units sold for product G without changing the formula. Amazing, isn't it? Let's explore this further. Now I will move to the next worksheet. And in any cell I will write T units sold. As I start typing, I see Excel highlighting the table T units sold. This is the reason I name all my tables in a sheet beginning with the letter T. In case I forget the name, I just type T and all of them are here in front of me. And if the name is intuitive enough, I'll be able to recollect the name even without looking at the table. As I press enter, I get the contents of the table. If I also want to see the headers, then I can write T units sold, open square brackets, and then hash all, close square brackets. And I see the tables with the headers too. Let's delete this. As I write the table name and press open square brackets, I can see all the column names. Product and units sold were the only two columns and they are visible here. Let me select the units sold and write a closing square bracket. All the values in that column are displayed. I hope by now you would have noticed that we are referring to the table without even looking at the original data. In case of simple data ranges, we would have started the formula and then toggled to the sheet and selected the values and then come back to this sheet. That of course is cumbersome and prone to errors. Let's look at one more thing on this sheet. In the cell C3, we need to calculate the total units sold. So let's write a simple sum formula. And now without going to the sheet where we have the table, I will start writing the table name T units sold. Select the column name and close the bracket for the sum function. And we get the result as 300,000 or 3 lakhs. You can see the ease of working with structured references. Let's look at one last benefit of working with structured references. In this sheet, I have this table where an additional level of detail is available, the price for each product. Now let's convert this range into a structured reference. Select the range, click on Format as Table, and press OK. This time I will name the table as T Sales. Now I need to write the formula for amount, which is units sold multiplied by price. Typically, we would write the formula in the first row and then copy it to the rest of the rows. So let's start by writing it in the first row, equal to value in the cell B2. As I click the cell B2, Excel displays at units sold, which means the value in the column units sold for this row, multiplied by the value in the cell C2. Excel displays at price, which means the value in the column price for this row. As I press enter or return, the formula automatically gets copied to all the other rows. You don't have to copy it manually. And if I add another row, the formula automatically gets copied to that row too. This is just the tip of the iceberg when it comes to working with structured references. I'll keep adding more videos to the structured references playlist on this channel. Structured references are a great tool if you're looking for automation using Excel. If this is of interest to you, then you should look at my course Magic Reports. In this course, I show you how to use a template in Excel to create multiple PDF files with fully customized data in each PDF file. The link is in the description. Hope you enjoyed this video. If you found this tutorial helpful, make sure to give it a thumbs up. Leave a comment with any questions or topics you'd like us to cover. And don't forget to subscribe our channel, Analytics Success, for more tips and tricks on Excel and data analytics. Thanks for watching.